Oh, what, what are y'all doing here?
Looking at the wall scrolls.
All right. And then I'll look directly at Flo. What are you all doing here?
And he just stares at her, and then just menacingly, I'll just menacingly get close. We came for the information.
So while you guys are kind of spending some time still going through and making sure that there's any other information, we're going to go ahead and bounce back over to Laya. So Laya, like I said, you guys exit out of that large room and back into the main hallway. Is there anything in particular that you want to address with him while you're just walking, or?
Maybe just. So I guess I would just ask him. Was that some form of meditation that you were doing?
Yes, it is something that very few of us are still able to do, but we use it to commune with the forests and the nature around us. It's kind of just like talking, mostly.
I'm begging your pardon, but what kinds of things do they say?
Well, if you could imagine the plants and the trees and the flowers and all of the forests, they all see everything. And a lot more information can be gathered than you might imagine. We know the movements of animals, we know if there's a flood, we know if something is wrong in certain places. It can be quite helpful, although it can be very draining, and especially depending on how far away we are trying to reach. It can be difficult.
That's quite impressive.
It is just a skill that has been acquired over a very long period of time, dear. So, as you guys kind of move away from like the crowded sections of the hallway, as you kind of start making your way deeper into the main hall, he kind of seems a little bit hesitant, but he looks around and he looks over towards you and says, I know that you caught part, at least, of the conversation that we were having. Firstly, I want you to know that I find it impressive. Not many speak Draconic anymore.
Well, I was raised in a noble family, so it was very important to my parents that I study other languages as well as economics and things of that nature. And to be quite honest, I find learning languages very interesting.
Do you know why they made you learn Draconic?
No, I don't think so.
Would you like to?
Sure.
No matter where you are, I know that you are not from here specifically, but we, and he motions kind of generally speaking about the Druids, all come from a very specific source, and that source happens to be Draconic in nature.
Interesting. All right.
But I just wanted to make sure that it was addressed that we weren't trying to hide anything specifically from you or your friends. It is just the language in which him and I communicate.
Of course.
I just know that with everything going on, you can never be too certain of who your friends are, and I just like to be as clear as I can be.
I completely understand, of course.
But anyway, now that that's out of the way, you said that you wanted to help. Did you have anything particularly in mind? I know that you said you weren't very well versed, but there isn't much that I wouldn't be able to teach you.
No, not specifically. I mean, I don't know if there's anything that my skills would be more suited to, or if there's just something in particular that you're in need of.
And you see him kind of reach over, and he extends out his hand, and he's holding a broom. He says, "This seems about your speed." And he holds it out for a minute and just cracks a big smile and goes, "I'm joking. I'm sorry. I couldn't help it."
I mean, if that's the help you need, I'm more than happy to. We had maids growing up though, so I'm not sure that I would even be good at that.
Like I said, I would much rather find something more your speed. I think you clearly can write, being a noble, yes?
Yes, sir.
And clearly you can read, from what I have heard.
And I'll just blush.
Don't worry, it's not a problem. None of this information is private. It's just stored here, that's all. If you would, I'm sure I can use your help organizing and arranging things, especially an outside perspective might be actually helpful on that.
Absolutely.
Very well then. And he kind of continues leading you down the hall, and he pulls you off into one of these other larger rooms kind of towards the back. And it's like a big kind of hallway. Library almost. Like there's just stacks and books of all types kind of arranged. Very similar to the ones that you saw in the room where he was. But with these ones, you can actually, they're very neatly stacked and organized, but all of them are kind of flowing with energy. And you can read most of them as they're kind of passing through. It's almost like a pulse that kind of goes from one side to the other, kind of through all of these books. And as they're kind of going through, you can read what some of the titles are on the spines and things. And there's people in here, druids, that are sitting and writing and organizing and reading. He just continues to walk you down towards the end of that hallway room.
Okay.
Towards the end, he kind of pushes open just another set of large doors, and inside there's just this big desk and just a whole bunch of actual parchment and a quill and ink sitting on the table. And he kind of motions for you to go ahead and just sit down at that desk.
Okay, I take a seat.
This is usually where I sit. It's my personal workspace. If you don't mind using it and sharing it, though, I think it would be beneficial for you to be right here.
Sure, if I'm not intruding.
No, nobody will argue, I promise.
Sure. What can I do to help?
And he, you see him push open the door that's in this room, and he barely cracks the door open and just reaches inside and grabs another tome out of it and pulls it out and sets it down in front of you. Quickly closes the door behind him. This is some of the recent information that we have been trying to gather about what happened with you and your friends and the adventures you've had since you've been here. if you wouldn't mind, I would love if you would add to that from your side of things and let us know what has happened and what you feel has transpired instead of just the secondhand information we have.
You've all been keeping tabs on us. Have we done something wrong?
Not keeping tabs on you in the way that you think, dear. It's just something that we hear. As you saw this morning, I frequently speak with nature and that around us, and that information, because it is different information from what we usually have, is what we've been talking about.
All right. Is there any information in particular that you're looking for?
No, I just like to have an account of things. I like to know what is happening, and to the best of your ability, just let us know what happened. Because, I mean, you have brought back a very old friend of ours that we haven't seen in a long, long time. And I've been curious to know what happened on a more detailed level, but unfortunately we just have not had the time.
Sure. I suppose I'll start with if I can go ahead and read what you have so far, then I might know which holes to fill.
Certainly, that's what this is for. Anything here is you're more than welcome to access at any point in time. Just feel free to ask if you need help, or just let me know. I'll be accessible, I am sure.
Absolutely.
And he's like I said, he sets the book down. Make sure you have everything that you need, and he kind of slinks off into that side room that's close by, and shuts the door behind him.
He shut the door, like I'm alone.
Yeah, like there's a big set of doors in front. Like you're facing into this large hallway that you just walked through, that has all the books in it, but you're alone in the room that you're in. So while you are taking a look at what you have there, I will go ahead and bounce back over to the other group of reading adventurers. So you guys went through all that stuff. You guys are kind of finishing up with that information now. Is there anything else that you guys want to look for while you're still in here, or do you think you have found what you're looking for?
I think I've found everything that I was looking for.
Yeah, I'd say just about. I don't think we expected to find a whole lot at the official library, but found some useful stuff.
Do you think they might have any information on Valgath?
I mean, it wouldn't hurt to ask. Anything about that war might be useful information. I don't know how far back these scrolls go.
So you guys would go ahead if you want, you can go ahead and ask about that. But go ahead, sorry.
Excuse me, sir. We were going over these scrolls, but we kind of went over them as much as we could. I think we're done with these ones.
Oh, great. Well, thanks. And he just like kind of picks up a whole bunch of them and just like sets them in the corner.
Thank you. Glad these are organized.
Yes, I make sure that I keep a very tight ship here.
Do you have, since you seem to know where everything is here, does the name Valgath ring any bells?
And you see him kind of just pause for a minute and like he taps the end of his nose and he's
Yes.
Nope. Don't think so.
I don't know that I believe you.
Huh. That seems very rude.
Yeah, this information's kind of important to us. So really, if there's anything that you have about Valgoth, do you think you could show it to us?
You see him kind of like get a very grumpy grin on his face. I can look, I guess. You see him kind of just start digging through some of these shelves that are clearly very organized. He's like, "What?" And he turns back to you. What exactly is this Val creature thing you're talking about?
A demon.
And he kind of pauses and like gets this shocked look on his face. And you see him just turn back and face the shelves and start shifting through papers again.
Yeah, there was something about him taking over a priest, I think.
Anything referencing a war between demons and angels, even folklore might help.
And you just see him like kind of turn back towards you, and he's like, I don't know what kind of library you think this is, but I can look, I suppose.
We appreciate it.
What's the deal with this guy? He seems a little touchy.
Very.
And after a few more minutes, he doesn't come up with anything. He has like one shred of paper that he kind of pulls off, and he's like, This says Valland. Is that what you were looking for?
Valand?
Yeah, that one.
No. Close.
Oh. Okay. Well, unfortunately, that's I think all I have here. You could always check the library with the Druids. You know, they have. I mean, it's not really a library like we keep here. This is pristine library. That's more of just a jumble of writing, I suppose.
Disorganized mess.
Yeah, mostly that.
Yeah, not like this place.
It takes everything in my power not to laugh at that.
Well, I suppose if that's everything, I guess I'll just get all this stuff cleaned up and organized then. But you guys are always welcome to come back in if you need anything else.
That was good. Should only take you a couple minutes to reorganize this stuff, considering how fantastic you keep it.
Oh, thank you. It shouldn't take me long at all. No, you're right.
All right. Well, do they just let anybody into the Druid library?
I don't know. I've never been there.
All right. Well, do you guys want to try and go check that out?
Seems like a good idea.
Wouldn't hurt.
All right, let's do it. Thank you very much.
And he just waves. Have a nice day.
Oh, and sir, we never got your name.
My name? Why do you want my name?
Is it not customary to know each other's name?
Nobody cares about me. But whatever it matters. My name's Elmine.
Oh, it's been a pleasure, Elmi. And I'll begin walking out of the library before I start breaking down on the fiddle.
Well, does anybody know where this Druid library is? Is it in the fancy building?
I'd say that's probably a good place to find out or find it. So,
Do you think we should head in there right away? with Laya being in there?
Um,
That was perfectly synchronized, and it makes me very happy.
I don't see why not. We're just all really interested in books. What's suspicious?
What do you think, Inflow?
Either way, it looks suspicious either way. But we can always just say it's under the guise of learning more about the area we're in.
Well, I guess it's time to head over there.
So you guys take your newfound information and knowledge of the most pristine library you've ever seen in your life, and you make your way over to the fancy building. And as you guys walk in, you're familiar with the way that the main hall is laid out, and you're used to at least being in this area specifically, and you see a couple people walking back and forth, kind of just doing their normal jobs, but you don't immediately see Laya anywhere.
She must be off volunteering somewhere. Or they have her locked up. I don't know.
Is there anyone around for us to?
Oh yeah, there's, like I said, there's a couple people just wandering through the hallway and stuff at any given time. If you want to just grab one of them, you definitely can, and just ask them where they are, where she is, or where whatever it is you're looking for.
Should we just ask somebody?
Yeah, I think we could just ask somebody.
So, like I said, you see every now and then you'll see one of the women walking out of the room, in and out of the room to the right of you, which is that big room that you guys kind of went into initially. And she probably walks past you a few times while you're standing there.
One of the times she walks by, I just kind of like stop her.
And she like kind of gets kind of startled at first. She's like, yes. What can I do for you?
Yeah, excuse me. We were looking for a library. We're looking just to go over to some of the information that you have. Kind of learn about the area a little bit.
And she kind of pauses hesitantly for a second, and kind of just looks at the group of you, and she goes, You're with the one that was in here earlier, yes?
Yeah, you could say that.
Oh, yeah. She went with Sorith earlier. I haven't seen them since, but they walked back down the hallway towards towards the library. So that's probably not a bad place to start to look, anyway.
Yeah, we haven't seen her since this morning. If you could show us the way. I'd like to see what she's getting up to.
No. Hang on. And you see her walk into the other room. She comes out and she's holding a piece of paper, and she has somebody with her. And she goes, "Will you take them to the library? I'm far too busy to bother." And she just walks away.
Wow.
Her name really Karen?
It's a different person, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone there is just a Karen.
Yeah.
Really starting to like these druids less and less.
Yeah, they're all kind of dicks.
Probably isn't something we shouldn't be saying out loud.
Oh, I don't
you
care
guys
if they
are
don't like me.
the person that she brings out. You follow him down the hallway, and it's not super far. It's just a few minutes down through the corridors, and as you turn into this big room, you can see much of what I described earlier. It's kind of this very big, large, open space, and there's books and stuff lining the walls. And at the very most, you can see there's a bunch of people in here that are scribing and reading and going over things and kind of moving and organizing. But you can see at the very far end that there's a big open doorway, and you can probably pretty easily pick out Laia from this group because she's the only one that's wearing anything other than a brown robe.
Hmm.
I thought I was in behind a closed door.
No, the door was open.
You told me it was closed.
No, I said it was open.
Hmm.
The door that Sorith went into, he closed.
Oh, I thought you said I was alone in a room.
You are alone in a room that faces another room.
Okay.
I'm not saying, I mean, you can very easily close the door if that's something you choose to do.
No, it's fine.
So we see her.
You probably, I mean, unless you said you don't want to have the door closed.
I mean, no. I feel like that would look more suspicious if I closed the door.
Okay. Yeah, then the door would be open. You would probably very easily be able to pick her out.
Okay. So do we want to like make contact with Laia, or do we want to just go about our business and start going through scrolls and stuff?
It might be a good idea to, meet up or whatever.
Let's go in and make sure she's all right.
Okay, then I just wave at her like through the door, try and get her attention.
What would you be doing at this point, Laia?
So, question first. From my limited knowledge of druids, do I have any reason to believe that if I use any kind of magic that they will immediately be aware of it?
From your best guess, it is very unlikely that they would know. But again, you're in like the hub of the druids, so you might be a little bit more cautious of it, but you have no reason to think that anything would be, especially, let me rephrase. If you're using just like very minor magic, you probably would not be concerned. If you're like trying to cast like a legit spell, then I would probably say you would be a lot more conscious about it, but.
Okay, so then I want to cast Alarm on the door that Sorith went through.
Okay.
And I want it to be like a mental alarm, not a spell.
Okay. Okay. And after that, would you just be going through like the documents and stuff?
Yeah, at that point I would just be reading what the scroll about us says, I guess.
Okay. Would you be paying attention to anything other than what you were reading?
Probably not.
Okay, so then as you guys were kind of like walking in her direction and like kind of waving and doing whatever, she wouldn't be paying attention at all. She would not notice you immediately.
I just shake my head.
Do you continue to head in that direction, or do you just stay there and wait grumpily until she notices you?
I mean, personally, I'm not moving at this moment. I don't know if anybody else starts moving, I may or may not follow.
I'll just casually make my way beside her and start looking through whatever's on the table as well.
Go ahead and roll a perception check, Laia.
I'm like walking. I walked in behind Flo. Is there like anything on the walls of this room?
There's some like scrawlings and stuff like kind of carved into like the wall and stuff like that. like very like tapestry or something of that nature.
I just look it over while they're talking.
I got a nat 20.
Oh, okay. So you, as soon as they came within like even your peripheral vision, you immediately would have seen the three of them.
Oh, what are y'all doing here?
Looking at the wall scrolls.
All right. And then I'll look directly at Flo. What are you all doing here?
And he just stares at her and then just menacingly, I'll just menacingly get close. We came for the information.
I don't know if I have very much yet. Sorith is right through that door, just so you know.
And I just laugh and stand back. I was trying to make a joke, but
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm a little anxious if I'm being honest. Take a look at this, and I'll hold the scroll out that has like all the information about us.
So just so you guys know, just now that we've kind of gotten to that point, basically what is on this scroll is more or less the path that you guys took through the woods. Some of the brief interactions you had, like they know that you had the interaction with the boars running through. And then there's not a lot of information past you making it near that grove. And then the information of which way you came back as well. But beyond that, it's not a lot of very detailed information. It's just a lot of like movement type information, like where you went, what you guys saw, the fact that Orlo was in a tree, like things like that.
His cowardice is well documented. But yes, essentially, he's asked me to fill in the holes and add our perspective of what happened.
Excuse me? And
He wants to know what happened from how we experienced it.
and you're writing that down?
I haven't written anything, Orlo.
Oh, thank goodness.
You didn't even let me begin my mission, really.
I didn't want to come in here and blow your cover. They did.
And I'll just kind of roll my eyes. Anyway, this is specifically what he tasked me with doing to help when I told him I wanted to pay my respects, so I feel like I have to write something.
Well, I don't think it should be the truth. I think we need to come up with something else to put down. I don't know about you guys, but I don't necessarily trust these guys, and Zrinka doesn't trust these guys. Granny May doesn't trust these guys. They've been pretty kind to us this whole time. I think we should be a little bit more guarded with our origins at this point.
I don't disagree, but I need to write something, and maybe it would be better if we just omit some of the things and leave it partial truths.
That sounds fine to me. I agree, we do have to put something down.
I have to put something down. You three are going to blow my cover.
And then I just turn around and start walking away.
I will follow suit.
Yeah, same.
So as they start to turn and walk out, the alarm goes off in your head.
How far away are they?
They're pretty much like right outside the door. And the door opens up. And the door kind of cracks open. It doesn't like completely swing wide open. And Sorth kind of just pokes his head through. And he goes, is everything all right? I thought I heard some conversing. I just wanted to make sure you're all right.
Oh, absolutely fine. It was just a passerby, I think.
Go ahead and roll deception.
Fuck.
Because you're blatantly lying at this point.
You got this.
14.
Oh, yeah. Oh, all right, very well. Just if you need anything, feel free to just, like I said, let me know, knock, or whatever you need.
Absolutely, thank you.
And you just see him kind of tuck his head back in and shut the door.
A liar.
And then I just poke my head back in. Close one, huh?
And I'm not gonna make the noise, but I'm gonna like gesture to shush him and like.
And then I just go back out into the other room and start looking through the scrolls or whatever they have out there.
So, as you guys are looking now for stuff specifically related to Valgath, yes? Or are you still looking for other things as well?
If we could find if we see anything about Saldana or anything that would jump out at us, obviously, I think, but yeah, mostly Valgoth.
So, are you guys going to ask for help, or are you just going to try to figure this system out?
We're just gonna try and figure it out. At least I am.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah,
that
pretty
would be
much.
best.
Okay. So then go ahead, roll perception with disadvantage.
How do we roll with disadvantage?
You roll twice and then take the lower number.
Oh, fun.
Guess it's gonna be another 4.
And 16. First one I had was a nat 20.
It is another 4.
So I guess I rolled an 8.
You have symmetry in every way possible.
It's a beautiful thing, isn't it?
It's wonderful.
Your symmetry is admirable, yes. So how long would you guys spend looking before you just finally said fuck it?
I mean, I don't have anything better to do at the moment, so
Yeah, same.
until Laya shows up out of that room,
Okay, then Laya,
or
how
we
long
get
would it
kicked
take
out.
you? How long would it take you to write down what you were considering writing?
So if I wanted to cast alarm, or if I wanted the alarm to still be there, I'd have to cast it again, correct?
I think that it lasts for 8 hours. And I don't think there's anything about it specifically only happening once. So I would say that it's still there.
Okay. Oh yeah, I see that. It doesn't say anything about. Okay. Cool. Then
We're just gonna have a mental alarm going off for the next 8 hours every time he goes in and out of this room.
Yay.
I mean, you can also dismiss it whenever you want as well, but
That's fair. But okay, so can I look around and see if there's anything that might be of interest to me relatively nearby?
So as far as like, are you in this room specifically? So there's there's a bunch of books and some paperwork, and drawers in the desk. But other than the desk itself, most of what is in this room is just in the like the wall tapestries.
So like in his workstation, I guess would I have to open drawers to find other things?
Yeah, if you wanted to see if there was anything other than books or paperwork, yes.
Okay, then I will try to very quietly open a couple of the drawers.
Go ahead and just roll stealth then, just to see how you do.
23.
Very stealthily open these drawers. Like there's not even a sound.
Yes.
So there's a lot of what's in here is like I said, there's a lot of blank papers, just like stuff that he uses to write with. There's a few little like trinkety things. Like little like woven, like hand woven small like tapestries, like almost the size of like a patch, like a big patch that you would put like on a bag or something like that. There's some really nice calligraphy supplies, like stuff for writing, but like even you as a noble would recognize this stuff as very fine. But beyond that, there's not a whole lot else in the desk.
Okay.
What are you doing, goofball?
I don't know what she's doing.
Demanding attention.
She was standing on your pillow.
Anywho. Okay, then I suppose I'll just close the drawers back. And I guess I'll start writing.
You don't have to say exactly what you're writing right now. Like, I mean, are you going to still try to go through and like give a general idea of what it was, but not very specific details?
Yeah, just generally like not getting super specific. Yeah, just trying not to give him a ridiculous amount of information.
Okay. So what do you think? Like 30 minutes, an hour? Like how long do you think that would take Laya to do?
25 minutes.
Okay. So we'll say about 30 minutes pass after the time you spend looking through the drawers and things like that. And you finish up. They're mad at each other. They're arguing. And you're sitting there and you have the scroll rolled up in front of you.
Children.
And you're just now sitting there. Do you want to like give it to him? Do you want to knock on his door? Do you just want to leave it and go and try to find them? What is your plan at this point?
No, I'll just knock on his door.
Okay. So as you knock, like a minute, or so passes, and you hear the alarm as he touches the door, and he kind of cracks it open. and he sees you standing there, and he kind of like he goes to poke his head out, and you're like very close to it, so he kind of like jumps back a little bit. What are you going to do at this point?
I guess I'll just be like, I think I've done my best to give an account of what I can.
Oh, wonderful. That I honestly expected that to take longer. And you see him he kind of tries to squeeze himself out of that room.
Like he's clearly doing it without like trying to avoid letting me see what's in the room.
He's very clearly trying not to open the door extremely wide while you're standing there.
Am I able to hear them talking? Like, did I hear her knock on the door or anything from where I was?
Where you guys were, it's probably pretty unlikely because the where she is and compared to where a lot of the documents are, you probably would be far enough away you wouldn't hear it.
Okay.
Darn.
You could probably, like, if you were like every now and then looking at her, you probably would have seen her get up, but that's probably about it.
Yeah, nah.
So he tries to you see him kind of squeeze himself out of the room as best as he can. He can't do it perfectly because he still has to fit out the door, and he's not very large, but he's still a large individual.
When he's doing that, do I catch any glimpses of anything?
Go ahead and roll perception.
Hen.
So you kind of give it a quick glance. It's hard to tell exactly what is all in here. It looks very cluttered. It looks like there's a lot of stuff stacked. It looks like paperwork and books, but there also looks to be like a lot of stuff on the walls, like stuff hanging up. It looks like there's a lot of like pots, like antique, like porcelain, like china type pots, like stuff like that. It's kind of like all shoved in here and stacked, and like it looks very messy inside this room.
Okay. And I'll just like step back as a like just to make sure he has an easier time to get out of the room.
He closes the door behind him and just walks over to the desk and picks up the parchment and kind of looks over it, and he goes, "Oh, okay, wonderful. You have very nice handwriting."
Yeah, thank you.
Well, wonderful. And you're certain that this is the best recollection you have of the events?
I believe so. I mean, it was quite dark, and a lot of it happened very quickly. So that's the most I can be sure of. Yes.
Wonderful. That's more than enough, and that's substantially more than we had before. So I do appreciate it. How was your foray off into meeting the other part of our wonderful community?
And I'll like take a second to like make it look like I'm trying to think about like I don't quite get what he's asking at first, and it takes me a second. Oh, you mean our trip to see Granny May?
Yes, sorry, I should have been more clear. I apologize.
Oh, no problem. Well, actually, we almost got lost on our way there. That was quite an adventure. We had to double back, and it was a whole thing. But we eventually found our way there, and really, most of the time we were there, we were just enchanted with her pet.
Yes, that creature is quite a fantastical sight. I have to admit.
Yeah, so I'll just be kind of trying to like play up to make it seem like I'm not very observant or particularly intelligent, I guess. Not that I'm stupid, but just not.
That you're more like aloof.
Yes.
Well, that's good. I hope that she treated you well. I always do worry about new people meeting her. She can be a bit abrasive when she wants to be.
Oh, yes. Zrinka had given us, there was some sort of food or beverage that apparently Granny May really likes. So Zrinka had given us some of that to give to her. So she was very welcoming.
Ah, yes. Well, that makes sense. I am glad that she facilitated that then. And he's kind of standing at the desk and he looks out and he does see that the three of you are standing out there and he goes, "Is that not your companions out there?"
And I'll just like look confused and like poke my head out and, oh, I suppose it is.
Oh, would you mind if we walk over there? I haven't seen them. I would much like to say hello.
Of course. Yeah, let's go.
So, if you guys are kind of still looking through all this stuff, and you haven't come on much success because, especially for the three of you, a lot of this stuff is not in a language you speak. Number one, and number two, it is very, very well organized, but it's not very specific on exactly when all of it starts. So you're kind of in this limbo between not being able to read a ton of it and also not being able to pinpoint exactly when the information you're looking for happens. You're making the best effort you can, though. And the two of them walk up behind you, and Sorith just very gently says, "I hope you're finding everything that you're looking for."
I just turn around and like kind of like startled, like, oh yeah, very, very interesting writings you have here. Finding everything.
I just roll my eyes. We've been trying to get a better understanding of where we are. Laya here wanted to pay her respects and do what she can to help, and we thought it was best that we go our own way and do our own legwork, as you all have your tasks to do and can't be hand-holding us every single day that we're here.
Well, that's very much appreciated, and I respect that. But again, if there is anything that I can help with, I will do my best.
Yes, Sorith has been very hospitable since I arrived.
I don't know how forward with information I want to be.
Laya was telling me that your visit with Granny May was that you all enjoyed visiting with Trash Can as well.
Boy, did we. Have you ever fed Trash Can, Sorith?
No, I unfortunately have not had the opportunity.
You should really give it a try sometime.
Do I hear disdain in his voice when it comes to Trash Can?
Go ahead and make an insight check.
15.
He definitely seems to have some feelings that are being reserved. You can't tell specifically what they are, but there is something a little bit there more than the surface level.
All right.
Yes, well, again, if there's anything that we can do to help, please just let us know. I can have Zrinka take any of these books over to you as well if there's something that you need for your research purposes, provided that you keep them safe.
Yes. What brought you all here? What kind of information were you looking for?
Really be your own sometimes. Well, anything that could give us even more information about observations in terms of magical effects, not only here in Elriel, but in other locations. It might give us some lead on where we might want to turn our attention to next.
Yes. That makes a lot of sense. Did the meeting with Granny Maid had anything fruitful?
We did have a brief discussion. I mean, we do know that there's someone named Seldana that I guess Granny May is her child. Do you have any information here on her and her lineage?
Well, if I remember correctly, I do believe she was from here. So if that's the case, then yes, that would make sense that we do. I would have to have someone find that information, but I can absolutely have that looked into if that's something that you need, if that you think would be important information.
I think that might give us somewhere to start at the very least. Flo, Ayla, did you have anything else that we should maybe look for?
No, that was my primary focus in coming here.
Yeah, same.
Very well. Well, I will most certainly have someone get that information over to you as soon as I can. And if you're not there, I will make sure that it's dropped off with Zrinka, as she will know what to do with it from there. But it will probably take me a day or so to make sure everything is together. But I don't believe you're going anywhere, correct?
No, not at the moment.
Very well. Well, then I will make sure that that stuff gets sent over to you all as soon as I possibly can.
Fantastic.
Is there anything else that I can help you with? I have a few other matters that I must attend to.
Well, was there anything else that I could help with before I go?
If you could just take this, and he hands you back the document that you had written. If you could just take this up to the room where we were this morning, it would be very much appreciated on your way out. And then other than that, no, if you don't have anything planned the next day or so, I could always use some extra help if you would like to come back. But if not, I totally understand that you are all busy and have much more pressing matters to attend to.
Of course, assuming nothing comes up, I'll come back tomorrow morning.
Great. Well, then I will see you then. I will meet you in the front room as I did this morning then.
Great, thank you so much. And like curtsy.
And as he leaves, he gives you a bow and looks at the rest of you and says, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care. And he turns and goes ahead and leaves.
And I will go ahead and dismiss my alarm.
Okay.
Please.
So your alarm gets dismissed, and then the four of you are just kind of standing in this big library. And it's, now that you guys are finished talking, it kind of quiets down a lot more, and it just kind of falls back into a very relaxing silence of just a few, pages turning in these books and just some ink pens on the paper. And that's the only audible noise at the moment.
So, is there anything else we should do here before we leave? I honestly, when I said the books were interesting, I can't read any of them. So I don't know what else is left here for me to do at the moment.
So I'll look at some of the books that are around them. Do I recognize any of the languages or see what they're about?
As like with the other stuff, a lot of it's kind of just in multiple different languages. But the stuff that you can read, it looks like it's just time.
Girls.
Looks like it's just timeline order of specifically from a couple hundred years back to just more recent now. And some of the stuff that the people are working on are just random books intermittently throughout those that either getting rescribed or things getting edited or something of that nature. So it looks like a lot of it's just the history of Elriel and the surrounding area.
Well, it looks as though these tend to go back only about 200 years, and if I remember correctly, the war that happened was about 400 years ago. So I don't know that you'll find anything about Saldana here. Do I see anything about like the flora and fauna?
On the wall that you guys are standing at, no.
Okay. Well, then perhaps we should make our way back to the inn so that we can speak more freely.
I think that sounds like a fantastic idea.
Okay. So then you guys go ahead, you make your way out and head your way back to the inn.